Hello, welcome to Gurukul's CAT 100 series, a series that's designed specifically to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. I am Prady Sharma and this is Verbal Mastery with Prady.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today is day 67 of the 100 days to CAT test series. In case you want to take this passage as a test, all you've got to do is go on to www.thegurukul.org.in, and in case you want to follow along with this video, then this is your first paragraph. Pause the video here, read this paragraph, jot down all the main points, and then we'll go into the second paragraph. This is the second paragraph. Pause the video here, jot down all the main points, and then we'll go into the last paragraph. This is your last paragraph. Pause the video here, jot down all the main points, and then we'll go into the questions of this passage. This is question number 1. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll move on to the question number 2. This is question number 2. Pause the video here, answer these questions, and then we'll move on to the question number 3. This is question number 3. Pause the video here, answer these questions, and then we'll move on to the question number 4. Now this is your last question of the passage. Pause the video here, answer this question, and come back for the passage and question explanations. What does this passage really talk about? A shiver of unease combined with a strangely defeated shrug is how the news that entertainment behemoth, that means a very large, very prestigious company. Okay, I would write here very large or established. Okay, Lionsgate has signed a deal with the AI firm Runaway has been greeted by most. So, whatever deal that's happened between Lionsgate and AI firm Runaway, people did not really like that deal. They just had to accept it with a feeling of being defeated. Okay, the deal gives Runaway access to Lionsgate back catalog to develop a new AI model with the aim of helping filmmakers to augment their work. Now, augment, okay, extend. All right. Through the use of AI. Lionsgate output includes franchises such as John Wick, Saw, and The Hunger Games. So what exactly will be the result of this deal? An infinite episodes of John Wick on streaming TV in a kind of an uncannier than Uncanny Valley animated series. 4 more feature-length iterations of Knives Out using flesh and blood actors, but AI gen scripts and an AI gen musical score. So basically what's happening over here, the author is asking us, okay, now that the AI firm Runaway has the entire back collection, okay, of Lionsgate's movies, and Lionsgate has given nice movies, for example John Wick, Saw, and The Hunger Games. So if AI firm Runaway now has the access to all the Lionsgate movies, what are we to expect out of all of this? Are we to expect that there'll be countless episodes of John Wick on streaming TV, or will we have a few more iterations, few more different versions of Knives Out, where we have the flesh and blood actors, we have the human actors, but the scripts are all AI generated, or will we also have an AI generated musical score? So the author is just thinking, what could be the repercussions of all of this, and will this result in increased prohibition of new writers' work because it's so outside the algorithmically field tested content? So will now the human writers who've been writing scripts, will their work be rejected because it's not fitting the algorithm, or it does not fit the formula that the AI has calculated? Well, it's perhaps naive to get too excited about the intellectual property and proprietary content. Hollywood has always developed projects based on existing literary works and produced spin-offs on the back of successful TV shows and films. So this part tells that, okay, it's kind of stupid for us to even think, it's kind of childish for us to think that the IP or the intellectual property or originality and creativity of these new writers would be stormed down, because Hollywood has been doing this for many years now. Okay, Hollywood has taken reruns of or spin-offs of existing works. It's taken existing literary works and then made it into movies. So obviously there's not much of a creativity or originality that's going on. So IP or losing about the IP will not be something that's very concerning for the author. Now, but wasn't the conclusion of recent writers' strike supposed to have kept AI in its place? It's been considered a tool to be used by the writers or creators generally to facilitate their work, and not something that would supplant them entirely. So here the author says that, okay, maybe these writers who went on strike, wouldn't that strike have actually kept AI away from getting into the scripting process and all? Instead of just using AI as a tool, now AI is completely replacing those writers altogether. So is that what this is all about? But maybe that was always a little naive. When the new Alien Romulus movie used AI to bring a character back from the original Alien film back from the dead, after discussions with the late actor's estate, there was outcry at how crass exploitative, and above all, smug it was. What is crass? Crass means without taste. Okay, classless. Right. So basically what's he's saying that, okay, maybe that's all a little naive. Maybe we are like, too innocent to think about all this. Why? Because when this new film of Alien, okay, brought back a character which was already, the person was already dead, so they had to bring him back using AI, people did not react very well to it. Okay. Clearly, however, everyone involved thought that it was a brilliant idea and expected all lovers of the original film to show a kind of brand loyalty in praising the decision. Some did, many didn't. I felt that it was corporate IP AI at its creepiest. So obviously the author is not a big fan of AI. The author is clearly saying that, you're bringing back dead people into a movie using AI and all is very, very creepy. He's not up for that idea at all. And just like him, a lot of people did not like that idea either. The movie industry is reaching a crisis point of sustainability and authenticity comparable to the outrage seen in the early 70s among pub customers at the introduction of homogeneous, gassy, ghastly, double diamond type beer, which resulted in the campaign for real ale. So basically in the 17s, apparently, there was a very, very gassy and horrifying double diamond type beer, okay, which resulted, so when people took this beer, they actually felt so bad that they demanded that they get the real beer. Or perhaps a closer comparison is to this country's sudden spasm of objection to genetically modified food in the 1990s, which resulted in the supermarkets taking it off the shelves. So maybe another comparison that he is bringing is that, okay, not only in the 70s but in the 90s also people protested against, people closely revolted against the genetically modified food, so that the supermarkets actually took it down. Although GM food is now making a comeback because climate change is making it necessary to cultivate hardier types of crops. So just because of environmental reasons, this GM food is coming back now. Now we are facing a tsunami of genetically modified double diamond content sloshing out on the screens, big and small. So he's just giving us a comparison, like that kind of genetically modified double diamond beer, kind of those kind of things are now coming as AI content, okay, and they're coming through on the screens, big and small. That means in theaters also and on OTT also. There has to be a consumer-led pushback against artificially cultivated proprietary schlock. Okay, again, schlock is a cheap alternative. Schlock is a cheap alternative. Okay, so what he wants, what the author wants is a pushback, okay, which is consumer driven, okay, so that people just do not take this artificially cultivated scripts or artificially cultivated movies. And critics have to play their part in noticing it and calling it out. So he's also requesting the critics to actually say something about this. Ask the movie directors or producers or whoever the movie team is not to use AI entirely. Clearly, AI could be a fascinating new generator of creativity and experimentation, but it could also be the complete opposite of those things. That means, yes, AI could increase your creativity, it could help you generate new ideas, it could help you experiment, but it could also kill out that instinct in you. It could also kill out the creativity in you. It could also kill out the experimentation instincts in you. Chat GPT style filmmaking has arguably always been a feature of Hollywood in spirit, but now the technology has caught up. If we are not vigilant, original filmmaking will become a marginal connoisseur activity and artificially replicated content will overrun the cinema chain. So what is he basically saying? He's saying that yes, this formulaic view of how Hollywood makes its films has always been there, but now technology is making it extremely easy for them to do so. So if we are not careful, if we are not attentive, okay, and if we do not push back, then this will become the norm. Every movie, most of the movies at least that we see will be AI generated, and the original filmmaking will be a very, very expertized activity that only very few people can do. Now that we have understood the passage, let's get into the question explanations. So the first question says, according to the author, it's perhaps naive to get exercised about intellectual property and proprietary content in Hollywood because, so why is it our innocence to get too exercised about the IP rights? Probably because Hollywood has always been making such kind of films. We've seen, right, that Hollywood has been taking the literary works and all, and it's been just doing spin-offs. So there's no point of us worrying about IP. Okay, someone's literary work is already being copied into a movie, right? So which option actually brings that out? Hollywood has long blurred the line between originality and replication. Now this is a good option. Since it's always been like that, it's not great for me to cry about it now. B, the deal between Lionsgate and Runsway is a step towards greater creativity. Obviously, this is an opposite, choice. The author would never agree with this. The use of AI in filmmaking is a threat to originality. Yes, I agree that author would agree with this, but that is not why he thinks that it's naive for us to get too hyped up about this IP and proprietary content. So this, though the author might agree with it, it has nothing to do with the question. Intellectual property is a lost cause given the films industry's many spin-offs. Now, I agree that this actually signifies what we should be looking at, but the problem with this is it's too specific. Okay, IP is a lost cause, I agree, but given the industry's only many spin-offs, now we need to establish pattern, right? So this is not what we are actually looking for. So D shouldn't be the correct answer. The best broader answer that we can look amongst A and D is A. So I would go with A as my correct answer. Now let's go with the second question. The second question, which one of the following statements about the Lionsgate runaway deal best captures the arguments made in the passage? Okay. So A, the deal reflects Hollywood's historical pattern of adapting and reusing existing content rather than prioritizing originality. Yes, literary works are taken, spin-offs are taken, and all of that is being reflected in A. So definitely A is a good content. B, AI's integration into filmmaking will lead to a decline in creativity, replacing original storytelling with automated production. Now, the problem with this option, although it sounds like a very good answer, is that it says lead to a decline. Now, the passage does not contend that it will definitely lead to a decline. In fact, he says that, okay, it might improve creativity, it might become a tool which augments your creativity, or it could lead to a decline. So this is a very, very negative answer, and hence it will not be a correct answer. See, the partnership between Lionsgate and Runway signals a progressive step towards more technologically advanced film industry. Now, the author is not very, very convinced that it's a progressive step. He also thinks that, okay, if this is not checked properly, if this is left unchecked, it could overrun the entire film industry, right? So C will not be the correct answer. D, AI-generated content will likely coexist with traditional filmmaking with minimal impact on the industry's creative landscape. Now, the problem that I have with this option is about the minimal impact. Nowhere in the passage does he says that it has a minimal impact. See, it could either benefit or it could, destroy. Now, if we are not vigilant and if we are not attentive, if we are not actually curious and we are not questioning back, then all the movies, most of the movies at least, will become AI-generated. So that's not a minimal impact at all, right? So definitely that's not the argument that's made in the passage about Lionsgate and the Runway deal. So D will not be my answer. The best possible answer right now becomes A. Let's go to the third question. What is the purpose of the example of double diamond type beer used in the passage? So obviously very clearly double diamond type beer in the passage was given as an example to make sure that we have to start pushing back, consumer-led pushback towards AI films, just like how we did with beers and how we did with GM crops, right? So to illustrate how consumer backlash can reverse dominance of artificial or mass-produced products makes sense. So this is a good answer. B, to show that mass-produced products, whether beer or films, eventually gain acceptance. Now see, this eventually gain acceptance had happened with the GM crops, especially because of the environmental reason, but the beer thing did not come back, right? So I don't know if it came back or not, but at least in the passage, it's not come back, right? So B is not going to be our answer. To argue that AI-generated content like double diamond type beer is an inevitable part of the technological progress, again, it does not mention at all about the inevitability. Okay, see, it helps us in creativity, but it's inevitable. That's too much of an extreme answer to take. So C is not going to be my correct answer. Now, D says to highlight how past consumer trends suggest that AI-generated films will be rejected by audience. Now, I understand that the example about Alien Romulus, gave some clarity about how certain people would not want to watch certain kinds of films which are made by AI, but some people still did, right? So this being too definitive that they will be rejected does not really fit according to the tone. Because of the tone mismatch, we'll have to take off D, and the best possible answer becomes A. Let's go to the last question of this passage. Which one of the following statements, if true, would best invalidate the main argument of the passage? Now, what is the main idea of the passage? The main idea of the passage is that people would not like movies made with AI. Correct. Now, if I can find something that says that, okay, the movies made by AI are creative enough that people are actually liking it, then the whole point of the passage is gone, right? So, A, films created entirely using AI have been widely embraced by audience and critics, leading to increased demand for such content. Now, if people love movies made by AI, okay, and it's leading to, a lot of demand for such content has come up, then obviously it is invalidating my main argument of the passage, right? So this is a good option to keep. B, Hollywood's past technological advancements such as CGI and digital cinematography were initially resisted, but ultimately enriched filmmaking. Now, just because these were accepted doesn't mean AI would get accepted. Okay, now even if I were to think that AI gets accepted, which is a very different technological advancement than CGI and digital cinematography, it does not yet tell me that AI would enrich filmmaking, or that AI would actually be making films which people would like. So I can say that this does not necessarily invalidate my main argument of the passage, so I can remove it. C, AI-generated films have failed to replace traditionally made movies as audience continue to prefer human-driven storytelling. So obviously, if this is true, Okay, my main argument of the passage is strengthened, that we don't want AI, we want, original storytelling. So this strengthens the argument, so this is not going to be the one that invalidates it. D, the introduction of AI in filmmaking has resulted in a surge of highly original and experimental films, expanding creative possibilities. Now again, if AI has come in, if originality has increased, the main argument that the entire thing will be done by AI is gone off. Right, so this is in fact giving support that original films would be more preferred, in which the argument which is made as the main argument in the passage is not invalidated, it's supported. So definitely D will not be my correct answer. The best possible answer becomes A. Now, if you watched this video till here, please do not forget to hit that like button. Your likes actually mean a lot to us. It makes us feel motivated enough to keep bringing videos like these for you every single day. Share this video with your friends who are preparing for CAT 2025, and do not forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.
Hope you enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, study room to boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share, and subscribe.